Okay, this video is to show you guys the new Frost update and how you're supposed to kill them. As you can see, I'm wearing full barrels, which is Varrac's helmet and skirt, and a Darrock's plate body with the Dragon Defender. And before I continue, I must say it has to be assumed that in order to do this as well as I do it in the video, you would need considerable amount of defense. That includes extreme and turmoil. Okay, first off, they added a ranged attack to the Frost Dragons. So during the course of the fight, if it uses either magic or range, that's going to be the attack it's going to use for the entire fight, and it does not alternate. So once you notice which attack it uses, that's what prey you can use. Then also it has a special attack where this blue orb revolves around it, and during that period it does heavy recoil damage to you. So what to do: 5 attacks. You have to count 5 attacks from when it starts attacking you, and after the 5th attack, the blue orb begins, and then you have to get off of it, or else it will bounce back serious damage to you. The blue orb will do 4 revolutions, and in the middle of the 4th one you can attack it even if you see it's still there. It won't affect it. So what you do is you attack first with turmoil and soul split if you have those available, and you get ready to switch to mage prayer. If you see you get hit with the mage attack, you switch to your mage prayer, because you don't really want to tank mage attacks while wearing barrels. But if you see that you're not taking a lot of damage, it probably is using the range attack, so you can continue using soul split. And once your life points are at maximum, you can stop using soul split and just pray. But you have to pay attention to those 5 attacks, and if it gets at least 10 attacks on you before you kill it, it's gonna do it a second time. So the best thing to do is, as soon as the Frost Dragon begins to attack you, you have to attack it immediately to make the most of that kill. And then when it begins to use the special attack, you get off, and instead of idling and doing nothing and waiting, that's your chance to pick up drops. So as much as you can, try not to pick up drops unless the special attack is active. And in this video, I'm using overload and prayer renewal. Overload simply because of the space it saves. I really couldn't imagine me bringing an extreme attack, defense, and strength. And in the yak or whatever beast of burden you use, you should have food in there. Particularly rocktail. Even brews. I tried brews because you really don't want to go cheap, because for one, this is serious money. So a little bit of supplies invested really isn't gonna hurt. And if you find yourself in a situation where you can't really have as much defense as I have, then instead of a defender, you can use a dragonfire shield. So in a typical kill, you start with Soul Split, counter 5 attacks, get off, pick up drops, while looking at the blue orb and kind of count the 4 revolutions, and when it's on the last one, you put Soul Split and Turmoil back on and attack it. And you really just repeat for the duration of your trip, because it really is possible to last without food with only Soul Split. It's not even about reaction time, it's more about predicting and counting. And I suppose bot programs, well, I don't know much about bots honestly, but I suppose bot programs, they can only read text and can't read the blue orb special attack, which would make it difficult to bot. And one more thing, I don't think graves appear in here anymore. If you die, I think the graves appear outside. That's just something I observed. I suppose some players would find this update to be annoying and really difficult. And yes, Frost Dragons are now pretty difficult. But real PVMers would embrace the challenge, because hopefully the reward will correspond. And the bones went up a good 33% in a day. Probably will go higher. Probably will go up to 20k again, hopefully. Because honestly, this is a pretty difficult task, when before you can just AFK it, or like you could just range and pray mage and don't take any damage at all. Now there's a lot more to it than that. Like you can't even keep your eye off the game for more than 5 seconds, because that recoil damage does over 350 per attack. I'm guessing it's proportionate to what you do, and with the rapier I max like 550, so I'm getting hit pretty bad if I fuck up. and hopefully you guys can just have some practice and make some serious money with this over the next couple of weeks before more people figure it out, and I guess inevitably figure out how to bot it. So for now, it's worth the time. Thanks for watching.